Well, come on, Tucker, it's time to go to work.
Hi, I'm Mickey Coffino, and I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm a serial entrepreneur with a multitude of businesses in all types of dynamics.
Guess what we're doing today? This is just many of my companies. I'm a serial entrepreneur. This one has been my absolute favorite. It's the recycling business. I went into the recycling business because I really wanted my kids to see anything is possible. It doesn't matter what you do, where you go. You can do anything if you put your mind to it. 1% of the industry is women in the recycling business. And I can't tell you how many people, when I opened up this scrapyard, said to me, "You'll never make it. You know nothing about recycling. You're just a hairdresser, and on top of it, you're a woman." Well, boy, did I prove them wrong. And for me, it's been nothing but a blessing because I got to be a community partner. I got to change the environment, and I brought awareness to what recycling is. And we are a full metal recycling. I'm going to take you inside what it is to be in the scrap business, which, by the way, I absolutely love. We have full scales, which we can weigh tractor trailers. We come in and we weigh the material when they come in and when they go out. Every time we import or export material. As we come up into this area, I'm going to take you through and show you what we do. And this is Tucker, by the way. I think Joe Rogan made a good joke about Malinois.
He's got a Belgian Malinois that is like very trained, like as trained as they get. Like that dog, those are little raptors. Those are the dogs they use overseas.
They're little velociraptors, and guess what? This dog runs around this yard and guards everything, which we need sometimes, and it's a good thing to have. So, if you take a look inside these boxes, everything that we do, we either export it or we take along and send it through. Everything that you think you just throw away, like motors, sealed units. This is a big motor that came out of something. Some people rewind them, repair them. Some people don't. They come out of refrigerators, freezers. Then we have all kinds of wires, cable wires. People throw this in the trash, and it's actually recyclable, and you can get paid for it quite a bit of money. These are the ends of ACRs. This is, I always love this one. This is brass, and believe it or not, somebody had this in their garage. Could have been a garage sale, coming copper ends coming through. This is kind of the heart and potatoes in the scrap business. When customers come, they get intaked in, they give up their information, and that's how they do it. We have all kinds of cameras. There's probably 50 cameras on the whole property that come through. And this is what's fascinating to me is you don't realize we use big Gaylord boxes to palletize all of our material. And then this is a wire stripper. And what we do is we put the wire in, and then they take off all the outside coating to expend out the copper, which is extremely valuable to have. Up through this area, which is where we have we extrapolate our ACRs. These come from like refrigeration, filtration systems, vehicles. This is brass, where we've had somebody come in and we've taken and split across brass. This is a big, huge alligator machine. And what it does, it actually cuts the ends off, and we go through and we snap, like we have copper, this is a better way. If you look inside here, we have like kitchen sinks and stuff. When you look inside that box, bicycles get scrapped. It's amazing. I tell people it's a maze of garbage. So for example, kitchen sinks, aluminums, ACRNs coming through. This is kind of like another brass deal. I love showing this to people because it's stuff that people just throw in the trash that's worth a lot of money. And it keeps your environment clean as well as creates energy. One of the best things is I love to show everybody gets wire, cable companies, plugging in lamps. We cut the ends off and we strip the wires. This is like, if you look at the copper here, there's different grades of copper that come through. This one is a classic. I love showing this because people always throw this away. Forever, forever. Antonio is who grades the metal. He's in charge of making sure everything gets segregated properly, make sure that we pay the right price. He's a very important piece in the success of this business. And he's worked for me, what? 14 years, long time. So he's going to show you how to use the alligator machine. Alligator shear, and it actually trims off the ends, puts it so we have the right plastic comes off, make sure we have all the right stuff. Good? Okay. So I'm going to take you up and let you see what our primary, when we shot with the Discovery Channel for Aaron Needs a Job, this was the best part that they loved because they got to get up into a $750,000 piece of equipment that has an actual claw, it has a magnet, and he'll take you up in it. So all of our equipment pretty much here since the beginning of time. We have forklifts, we have bobcats, we have this forklift twirls around, it helps lift it. And then we have small scales on both ends that help in weighing when customers come in to come through. This is our storage unit for more material. And then this end right here is burners. So actually they come in, the burners do, they get all loaded up, and they actually, it's like a welder, and they burn material. So we have a lot of people come in with beams and huge, huge pieces of material that'll come on a tractor trailer. And what our burners do is they come in and they cut the material to spec to go on and be shipped out as heavy melt. It's really an art form, and it takes these guys with certification and to make sure that there's safety and people understand what goes into cutting heavy steel. So Antonio is going to take you what it is, how we go in and we load material. I think a lot of people don't realize what goes into the operations of a scrapyard and the equipment and heavy equipment that's required to properly operate the business. But one of the best parts is we have a wheel loader that we use. It's got a bucket, it's got forks, we can lift trucks, we can lift cars. It's imperative in running this. We've got drums and rotors, we have trash coming through, and then this is sort of the heart and meat and bones when you have to pick up, load, whether it's heavy iron, vehicles, cars, and they'll come through and he'll show you how it works and how those fingers come through. One thing I think that makes a great leader in a business is you know your skill sets and you put the right people to operate the best parts of your business. I have always had heavy equipment operators, people that have a skill set to give back into the business to make it expand. No business runs without its own. Mr. Russell James was my very first employee that came to work for me for my Second Chance program. He was in my national video for the Federal Bureau of Prisons, and he served 25 years in the state penitentiary for North Carolina, and he's been one of my best employees from the day one.
This is one of them that I wish I could have found 30 or 40 years ago. This place right here. You know, the people here. Mickey, you know, I tell Mickey, I say, you saved my life. And maybe she just said, well, okay, but really, and when I say that, I mean that. She saved my life.
What you're seeing these guys do right here is they come in, they get weighed on the scale, they offload their material, and then they'll go back up on the scale and get weighed. This is one of our key pieces to use. We use this to load our trucks, to offload heavy refrigeration systems, AC units, and what you'll see that claw do is we have a magnet that picks up steel as well when we're cleaning the areas. He'll take and he'll come through, pick up material, and you can see how it works. It's pretty fascinating, especially if you get up in the air with it. The things that go into scrap metal are crazy. Hot water heater, washer, dryers, air conditioning units, bicycles, all kinds of things that people just tend to throw in the trash. Piping, plumbing, anything that has steel, copper, aluminum, stainless, brass can be recycled. To show people, this is one of my favorite things to do. When we come out into the scrapyard, this is what it is when you have heavy equipment. You have film crews, you come through, you get in your big machines, and people get to see how you operate your business. When you load trucks, when you have heavy equipment, and most of all, what it is to be in the scrap business. It's so much fun. One of the great things for me that a lot of people are always amazed in the 15 years I've been in business, I've had the same employees since I started my business. And one of the best things I can tell any leader is kindness, empathy, and most important, honesty. Have integrity in your business, and people want to do business with you as you grow your business. So as I started, when people come in, they get weighed, then they offload all their material. After it's offloaded, then what we do is we get an opportunity to weigh it and pay our customers out. So the yard, we're pretty much almost a 4-acre tract. I try to operate most of this business on the inside, as I shared. And everybody in here pretty much knows, so when our burners operate, they cut down the material to fit the spec sizes to go in the trucks. And then when we come in, we get to weigh most of the material, segregate it. So when customers come in, they get onto the small scale, they get their material weighed. Antonio always pretty much oversees with the team what type of material we have. And Angela kind of works with them to make sure that we've got our intake. This is sort of my right hand. And then this is one of our processing areas. As we cut the copper up, it's got to fit specs to go to the mill. One thing that people don't realize that they just haphazardly not think about is the environmental restrictions and what goes into, whether it's batteries, which are worth money and you need to properly dispose of them, wheels, rims, wire. There's so many things that can be processed to keep out of our landfills. And when you are recycling, you're creating energy. You're giving and keeping our landfills clean. You're producing environmental health to our planet, as well as it gives people an opportunity. There are people that make $1,000 a day scrapping metal. They pick up on the side of the roads. What people don't realize is that we're creating jobs for people that maybe don't have as much education, and they actually have to learn what type of metals, what they're worth, if they're a ferrous or a non-ferrous, the levels and the grades of copper, aluminum, stainless, brass. There's so many things, motors, electric motors, big motors, ACRs. It's crazy. And what it does for them is gives them a sense of having their own employment, their own company, and guess what? It makes money. It keeps people employed, and that's the real key. One of the great things in my business, and I've said this to so many people, you have to have a right hand. Angela has been my right hand. She basically, operationally, everything going in and out, making sure material is packaged, loaded, coming in, pay, employees. This becomes the success of your business. If you try to have so many hats and not one right hand, this becomes the right hand for me. This operates my whole operations for me. She sort of walks around. We need pallets, we need boxes. She'll basically prepare our trucks to be loaded to go to the mill. And that comes a key piece in operations. She makes sure, here's one thing that people don't even think about. We have to make sure we have fire hydrants to make sure we're compliant for the city. We have to make sure that everything is in a stormwater way, that we're not creating any type of hazard. We have to make sure we keep things clean, picked up, and everything has a place. One thing as an entrepreneur and an owner in the scrap business, I really need to oversee and make sure that we stay in compliance with US DOT, tires, mud flaps, safety of the truck, the safety of your trailers, and to make sure that we meet the compliance for DOT regulations to have your trucks roadworthy, as well as the safety of the driver. You're hauling 80,000 pounds of scrap metal. So safety is a big factor, and that's one of the other small increments that are behind the scenes as an owner that I'm required to do to make sure all of my tags are proper, to make sure we have our IFTA stickers, to make sure that the trucks are checked every day for maintenance. At the end of the day and at the beginning of the day, it's an important piece that nobody likes to do. I'm going to tell you one piece that was really important, and I share this to recyclers when they're coming in. A true scrapyard is going to have it when you come into their facility on the wall, so you can see when you drive up and you put your material, you drive on the scale, you can see the weight of before and after, so you know how much you're scrapping. And a good, solid, reputable recycler always has everything labeled for you to see. In our facility, we probably have 75 cameras. Everything records 7/24 with a DVR system. And we post it so people know they're being videoed when they come into our facility. And the great piece is, as they come in, when they do their intake, everything is compliant to the state of North Carolina. You have to have a driver's license, you have to sign in. We do a signature, a fingerprint, and we intake them into our scale system, which is a pretty comprehensive piece of equipment, and everything is processed through an ATM. As they get paid, it tells them their ticket number. You scan your ticket, and it'll actually process out your cash. So everything's done 100%. Everything can be traced, tracked, and customers can come back and actually see how much they've processed for their business for the year. This is the hidden part. When you come in here, you're going to see that almost 99% of your scrapyard businesses have is this. And it sounds crazy, and it'll change systems. So I see everything that goes on. I know who's coming in. I can see every single piece of material. I can watch the intake. I can see what they're doing. I can see their computer systems. I can watch all the heavy equipment. I can see my computer room, even in my offices, and we videotape every single thing. So there's never a question on a compliance, safety, or most importantly, material coming in and out. Okay, bye. So it's interesting having two scrap yards. My other one is up near Hickory. That was my daughter, who kind of is, again, another left hand on another piece of my businesses. Having two scrap yards requires a lot of tacticians, and I've got to balance everything out. We had the funniest thing happen. We had a wire that got taken down by a piece of heavy equipment. It shocked out and blew out all of our computer systems, all of our software. So we had to get new computers, and we had to coordinate with 𝐓𝐿𝐼, who runs our software systems for scrap metal. And what she did is she got on, went and coordinated with 𝐓𝐿𝐼 to make sure the ATM reads to the computer as well as the scales read to the computer, because everything talks together, and that way we have a good seamless transition, and we can see everything from Charlotte to Hudson and have everything run as seamless in one business. Everyone always talks about this fun that I get to do working these heavy equipments, but they don't get to see the back end of what you have to do when you are an entrepreneur inside an office with a mile high of paperwork, whether it's dealing with IFTA, dealing with federal motor carrier, dealing with state, dealing with stormwater, dealing with bill paying, dealing with other scrap yards, buying material, doing all kinds of fun things. One of the things that I absolutely tell everybody that you think is so much fun until you have to get there and you have to make sure everything is compliant and we actually adhere to all the rules and regulations, whether it's stormwater, as I've shared with many people. There's a lot of environmental things that go into consideration in the scrap metal business to make sure you're compliant. You have to make sure that you get everything intaked into the computer, whatever comes through your business that you've purchased, and then you have to resell. It's a very tedious and time consuming. The best part is the check depositing, but the worst part is what goes into that time of doing it.